This is the philosophy of women needing or wanting men not to care, men not to love them, so that women can please men and they can love men and maybe they can come back for you. Now, I know you will tell me, this is somehow toxic and narcissism. No, it's not about you identifying this as narcissism. It's about you getting an insight that will help you understand how reality works and why psychology is trying to control you, because psychology is controlling women. For example, do you think that right now Hannah is walking away because she doesn't love you? No. The problem is Hannah is analyzing you using her past experiences. Let me not say the word past experiences, using her memories, and because she is using her memory to analyze you psychologically. And psychologically, it is an influence of a thought that has been modified by her past in somehow a wrong way, because she has no full information of how the things were supposed to happen. What happened to her, it was supposed to be something that she must learn. She acted that way because she entertained that to happen. No one forced her to act in that manner. But she knows that these men caused her to act that way. They used her, they dumped her. That is why you will even get other women who will just still want toxic men, because that is what they think makes sense to them psychologically. And reality is they haven't really dealt with their past, maybe their exes. And the burden that she has, rather the sorrow, rather the pain, doesn't matter if he cheated or she cheated, then the guy dumped her. That is what is convincing her to sleep around with a toxic guy, because the toxic guy communicated that he can walk away whenever he wants. And that will allow her to build a coping mechanism that will make her strong enough when you walk away. But eventually she is faced with reality. Let's deal with it. The mind of Hannah and your mind. For you, Isaac, you are so in love with Hannah and you want to date Hannah so bad. And maybe you are already in a relationship with Hannah and this relationship worked. It has worked. It's still working, right? And you hope this relationship will last again. Hannah is in love with you because your existence allows her to have a specific pattern. For that pattern allows her to survive what she thinks is reality in her psychological mind. But then in this state, she doesn't understand you as a potential partner. Rather, you are the person who creates a reality that she wants to experience for her to have peace in her psychological analyzation. She is living in a pattern. And this pattern you created by showing love. Her presence convinces you logically because you see her, she's showing love, then this is genuine love to you. But she knows this reciprocation will allow you to see this presence and her existence as the genuine love logically. She's not in control of her thought, for there is always something wrong in you. For she is analyzing you psychologically, and you thought that what she showed, the vibe and the nuance and the tone, it was love. You fall for that. And now she confirms her pattern about her past, that men can fall in love when you just communicate verbally and you are present. For that confirms it's love to them. But then that pattern allows her to survive when it comes to self-esteem, confidence issues, maybe not good enough. All these, it exists in her, and she can only go through these if you are available. Your availability, remove this. and it creates a pattern that allows her to rely on, I am actually good enough, and not good enough was just a perception that the other guy used on me, and it's not on me. Actually, I am good enough because Isaac is present. Then I gain back the confidence. Like I have the self-esteem, right? And now she decides to communicate to you that he is so weak, because this can again convince her to walk away and not feeling guilty, because that will be true. You are weak, you are attached to her, you are always there for her, you showed love and you really care about her, and now it gives you a negative energy to consistently go after her because you are genuinely love. Now you are weak, she's walking away, or there is always a problem in you. At this moment, Isaac, you are totally crushed. Why? The presence is not there anymore. When she walks away, you are left with it. She can't just understand why you are always around. Her ex walked away. The toxic guy used to go and then come back. You are acting differently. That is a man acting weak, because she is higher value and she deserves more and she can always do better. But she identified that she can do better because she is using her memories of her exes to analyze you, not because that is what she really wants, but her thought wants that, and she will follow her thought psychologically. That is why eventually she will make sure that the minor argument, the minor disagreement, it is a major argument and disagreement. And the sorrow is something that exists in your brain. But sorrow is something that is causing you to crash down, and you don't need her to deal with your sorrow. For her, she already has a certain way of dealing with her own issues, and this is creating, or rather entertaining, a man who can be there just to boost this, create this, and remove this. And that has been her pattern consistently until one day the pattern doesn't work for her. Now she goes in depression, or she will look for something else that will keep her busy. Another toxic guy now who will now fulfill a deficit of self-esteem. Now that Isaac, you have sorrow, your mind, this is your brain, okay? Your brain has an image, a picture of what sorrow is, okay? Maybe you think this is the sorrow, right? This is what your mind thinks. Rather, it has that picture. Rather, it can explain. But your mind is not fully aware of the sorrow because it hasn't really met sorrow. Because the only way you can identify yourself as low value, not good enough, is by denying your mind to meet sorrow. And the mind in it itself, it doesn't know. It does not know how to deal with it. This is a new thing. It kind of can mention it. It can name it. It merely has a picture of sorrow. But it has no idea what sorrow is. So it doesn't know how to deal with sorrow because it has not met with sorrow head on. And now that it's not fully aware, now I am the problem. As Isaac, she walked away. I am the problem. It's not, you think it's not sorrow that is making you think that way because your mind is not aware of this. Your mind thinks, I am the problem. Now I must go to the gym, work on myself, do certain things, become a certain guy, okay? A certain guy. And then build myself in a manner that any other lady won't walk away from me the way she walked away. Even when I have a car, I have a Lambo, I have everything. Because you are denying your mind to deal with and meet with sorrow head on. But this confirms her psychology about you being weak and not being the good enough man for her, and actually her thought about you was right. That is why you had to build yourself and become this. When you become this, you lose the identity that makes you strong. This identity only needed you to deal with sorrow head on and allow the mind to face the sorrow, accept the sorrow, and not have an idea that maybe it might be sorrow and I have a picture of it, but it is not willing to deal with it. Which now pushes you to become a different guy that no other lady will love, rather every woman will use, because at this moment now you are weak because you have lost your identity. And at this very moment you think you have a problem because this lady walked away. These other women are walking away. This lady walked away for she had her own issues and she wanted you to be present for her to deal with her own issues. These other women are walking away because they can't get what they think it's who you are. And what is making you acting weird is you losing your identity, you are really you. And thinking that maybe your cars, your houses, and your assets will keep these other women around you. Now that they are walking away, your sorrow turns into depression. Even when you have everything, you have a car, you have a mansion, you have money. From sorrow now, you are in depression because of a situation she created. And she created this so that you can be strong by dealing with sorrow, because either way sorrow will happen. Is it making now sense? Why you need to deal with sorrow so that you can experience the present without expecting something from anyone or from what life gives you or from what life gives you. Deal with sorrow as it is. The moment you label yourself as the issue, you confirm her thought. But her thought is controlling her and it's also controlling you so that you can become this. But you can still become this guy, but still have the identity. When sorrow exists in your mind, right? This is your brain. And then this is the sorrow that the brain is aware of. Your mind needs to face this sorrow, not draw a picture of it, but experience it so that some of the sorrow can be in your brain, so that it can be part of your pattern in your brain that your brain is aware of. And it's something that happens. Once it's aware of it and it is in your brain, it's easier for this brain to adapt to a specific pattern that makes you resilient, because sorrow is part of the existence and the brain now is fully aware and it has registered it in your memories. But when it has just a mere picture of it and it hasn't experienced it, now this is what will lead to you being weak by thinking that your assets will save you from the sorrow. Reality is the present. You are listening to this voice, you are watching this video. This is the present. And it only makes sense to you if you are listening to it by the present and not using it as a way of you justifying why your ex walked away or why she came back because you ignored her. You just listen to it to understand the knowledge that exists. Detaching yourself from the result, rather when she walks away, you don't go after her because you are detached to the result, allows you to experience the present with its own softness, without too much analyzation, and not carrying any of the load or sorrow on your back. Forgiving yourself starts when you understand that maybe you are naive, maybe you are invested, maybe that is just what is, that is just what existed, and you needed to experience for you to know that what people talk about actually exists, and that is what is, and it's just what exists in the world. And you are supposed to be aware of that and not to analyze it. Like, you meet with a woman, she is highly interested in you, and then you want to have a relationship with this lady, right? Then you decide to watch her behavior and analyze her behavior. When you analyze her behavior, it will cause psychological torture. But when you just do things, if I want her, I will make a move on her. If she acts in a certain way, I won't entertain that behavior. I will just walk away because that is what is. So you are not attached to her. When she walks away, then that is something that she doesn't want. She doesn't want this relationship to work. And that is just what is. That is just what exists. Like, I want you to use the experiences or the past knowledge as a way of modifying your present in a softer way so that you can't continually live in sorrow. And I'm not telling you that this is how it will work for you, because you think now, at least this lady is someone who knows everything. Remember, the speaker is just the image that exists. The speaker is not me. What you think is me is not me. You are your own teacher, your own spiritual leader, your own student. You make your own decisions. And there is no specific way that the speaker can know your patterns, your behaviors, your past experiences, so that they can give you the answer. The speaker is also being influenced by a thought, or maybe the knowledge, or maybe something she read somewhere, an insight she had when she was maybe reading a certain book, maybe when she was listening to a certain podcast, and it's not her. Okay? She can't tell you what to do. She is communicating what she thinks. It's the fact. But she doesn't need to influence you to act in a certain way. She just needs you to see the reality as it is and look for a way to deal with your own reality so that you can create a healthy way to live and not consistently going after women when they walk away. Because going after women is what will influence those women to always walk away from you. Is what will consistently equal to control, torture. Because you have a desire and you have an expectation. Are you a new member? Welcome. Bound.